All right, let's start with CCXP. I told you. Didn't I tell you? I told you. Now, I know many people, oh, Rob, you're kind of late to the party here. Yeah. No. I was ready to record a video on Sunday night. Okay, Sunday night. And I said, you know what? Let's let it marinate. Let's see how people react. Even though I knew how people were going to react. Let me see. Monday rolled along. Now, Monday, my wife returned from Georgia, so I spent a lot of time with her. Was on Twitter, looking at the Twitterverse, expressing their displeasures. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to cover all this on the stream on Tuesday. We'll just drop it all. And then whoever don't show up, I'll put it up on the channel and they can watch. And I'll cut it into smaller videos so people don't have to sit there and sift through a 2-hour stream. CCXP, there was a 6-hour panel, as you all know. And a lot of it, let's be honest, a lot of it was utter shit. Now, that's not to say it's shit for everybody. There were people interested in those things, I'm sure. But even in the chat room on CCXP, all people kept talking about was Godzilla versus Kong. Godzilla versus Kong. And there's good reason for that. It's not that Godzilla versus Kong would do better in the theaters than Wonder Woman or even Dune or any of that. It's the only movie we have not seen a goddamn thing other than 4 seconds total. When you look back to last year's clip and this year's clip, 4 seconds of footage for this movie we've gotten. That's why people are asking about it, because look, there's still some people outside of the mainstream fan base that are interested in this movie. They've heard about it. It's Kong. It's Godzilla. It's a spectacle. You're going to draw people to this movie just on that alone. So people want to know what they're getting into. Now, I knew we weren't getting a trailer. I knew it in my heart and soul. I knew it. And there's some people here in chat. I was in chat with you guys on The Nation. And you guys know, I was checking in like what? Once every hour or so? What's going on? I had CCXP up, but I wasn't watching it. I check 1 minute, they're doing Adult Swim. I check another minute, they're doing some other bullshit. Now look, there's a lot of debate here on how people feel, how people should feel, how people shouldn't have expected anything. Look, I'm going to come out right out and say this. People are entitled to feel the way they feel. Doesn't matter if you agree with it. Doesn't matter if your opinion says they shouldn't feel that way. People are entitled to feel the way they feel. End of discussion. I just want to say that. What I think, in my opinion, is that people should not have expected anything.
Legendary Incorporated tipped $1. Face it, I got screwed. So I screwed y'all. Warner Brothers, go fuck yourself. How dare you? You pathetic assholes. I will sew the fuck out you. You tried stealing Godzilla vs. Kong, you ugly pointed elf bitches.
All right, we're going to get to that in a minute. Let me finish my CCXP thing. People have a right to be upset that there's no trailer. Thank you very much, Aldefonica and Legendary, for the donuts, by the way. Robzilla, great to see you stream again. How's the family doing? Family's good. Kids are in bed. Wife's home, safe and sound. I'm a happy man. And I love that one. What's going on, Bobby? I don't think people should have expected anything. Simply because it's CCXP. Wonder Woman's 3 weeks away. I think it was kind of obvious that once they got to their mainstream stuff, they were going to pretty much do Wonder Woman. And they did. That's exactly what they did. So it kind of makes sense that they didn't. Now, I do agree with some criticism that not a mention, not a panel, even a short panel, 20 minutes, just talking about the movie a little bit. I don't think that would have hurt. But this is a legendary movie, right? Even though it's a Warner Brothers panel, it's a legendary movie. And we're going to get into that in a second because I know there's a lot going on with legendary Warner Brothers right now. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But I think the fans have something being worth upset about. I personally am not upset because I mean, look, you guys know, despite the inconsistencies on my channel, I've been covering Godzilla since 2013. The thing of it is, Dune is a legendary movie. We got a trailer for Dune. And I think Dune comes out late next year now. I think they pushed it back. So here's a movie that's a year out, and they've gotten a trailer. You know, Wonder Woman received tons of trailers. So yeah, I can understand where the fan base is with this. It's like, well, this doesn't make sense. The good thing is, we're gonna get something soon. We are. I think the end of December is still a possibility. I still wouldn't be surprised if February, March is when we get the first trailer. Honestly, you know, it's funny. They went from one extreme to the other. You know what I mean? They went from over marketing to now they're not marketing at all. Now I get it. You know, there's a cost here. Money's limited. You still got the COVID thing going on, but I mean, you've already you already paid the editors to cut a trailer. We know this is a trailer that exists. I mean, it doesn't cost anything to upload it onto YouTube and call it a day. Now this also still makes me lean into my theory that there is a chance they're going to change the release date. I don't think they're going to push it back. I think they're going to move it up. That's the only other reason I could see that we don't get a trailer within the next 2-3 months. The soonest, end of December, the latest, sometime in March. Depending on, but I still think there's an outside shot. They might move it up. But overall, I think people have a right to be upset. People have a right to feel the way they feel. But at the same time, I don't think people should have expected anything. I think they were wrong to have high expectations. You know, nobody promised anything. It is not a Warner Brothers movie. It is a legendary movie. Warner Brothers is in charge of distribution, which now I'm going to segue into what's going on with legendary Warner Brothers. You know, we're never in the courtroom, in the boardroom to see how these deals are made, how the contracts are done, what the agreements are. But I will say this. I don't think Legendary has a leg to stand on here. Even though they hold the rights to 75% of the movie, as far as I know, Warner Brothers is in charge of distribution. And if that's true, then they can distribute it however way they see fit. This is probably why there's rumors circulating that Legendary is going to take them to court. But again, I don't know if they have the leg to stand on there because, and again, look, this is speculation, but if the deal is made that Warner Brothers gets a cut and they have the rights to distribute the movie, and that's the deal, and it's contractually written, which pretty certain it is, then I don't think Legendary has anything here. I really don't. I don't think it's gonna. If this is if this is how Warner Brothers wants to distribute this movie, I don't think Legendary can do anything about it. They can be upset. They can try to fight it, and I don't know if it's worth the money to spend to fight it because, again, like I said, if it's a contract agreed by the two companies, it's binding. It's binding. It's not like Legendary can say, oh, well, we signed this under duress. That's usually the only thing that can sever a contract in court is if you signed it under duress. I'm pretty sure there wasn't an executive at Warner Brothers holding a gun to an executive at Legendary's head asking them to sign a contract. So, you know, I don't know why Legendary is doing that. I don't know what they're upset about. I you know, everything's so rumored right now. Well, Legendary, yeah, it's their movie. But my point, Jonesy, is that the agreement is that Warner Brothers distributes the movie. Putting it on HBO Max is distribution. This is why I don't think Legendary has anything on this. So that's that. Now, in terms of the little 2-second clip we saw, I mean, there's really nothing there. You saw Kong roar and you saw Godzilla swimming. I know people got like something. I don't want to take away anybody's excitement for that. I just personally, I'm more excited to see a trailer. I'm more excited to see the movie. That's what I want at this point. I'm not interested in another 2-second clip. It's been a year since we saw anything regarding footage in this movie, and now we get another 2-second clip. I'm willing to wait for a trailer, of course, but I mean, and that's another thing. We don't know if this court case or potential pending issue between Legendary and Warner Brothers is now going to affect this movie. You know what I mean? You don't know. If Legendary gives Warner Brothers a hard time, Warner Brothers can be assholes and just say, all right, well, we'll just distribute the movie whenever. We'll kill the release date. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen, but, you just don't know how these things are going to turn out. I mean, if this is something that gets dragged out, if it becomes a long-term issue, does that mean the movie can't get released until they settle this? I mean, these are questions that I have. Dune is what someone said in chat was Chris, October of next year. So that has a little bit more time on its side while this thing, and that's if it goes to court. It may not go to court at all. Like I said, I really don't think Legendary has anything here. If my theory's right, that Warner Brothers is in charge of distribution and there's really nothing Legendary can do about it. It's funny. This movie is, I think the worst thing that could happen is everybody wants a trailer. Everybody wants to see what's going on with this movie. Everybody wants to see this movie. We've gone through delays. We've seen 4 seconds of footage in the last year. We've heard so many rumors, so many theories, so many leaks. And the worst thing that can happen is this movie finally comes out and it absolutely sucks. That's like the worst thing that could happen. The movie would absolutely suck. Like, that would be can you imagine how it would feel walking out of that theater knowing that you went through all this waiting, all this emotional roller coaster of anger, of waiting, of delays, only for the movie to be trash? I mean, and it is possible, you're right. Is the movie going to suck? I don't know. I hope not. With all this trouble that right now it's going through and all the delays, it kind of better not suck. It better be good. Yeah, I was going to bring it up, James, but since you did, I'll talk about it now. So the budget is between 155 and 160. I did see some people freaking out about this because they're like, what the hell? I think people need to remember that there are assets from Godzilla vs. Kong they're going to reuse in this movie. When I say assets, I don't mean like stock footage. Basically, when you do computer-generated imaging, you take Godzilla, you create him, you rig him, right? And then once he's created, once he's rigged, that's what allows you to manipulate his motion, this and that. Those assets are already created. I think the reason the cost for King of the Monsters was more than 2014 is, number one, you have more monsters. Number two, they fairly dramatically changed Godzilla's look. So you had a whole new design. Even though his whole concept, everything about him looked similar, he had bigger dorsal plates, he had more spikes, and he had a blue glow to him. So the Godzilla from King of the Monsters is the same design we're getting in Godzilla vs. Kong. Those are reusable assets. They might minor tweak some things, but there's not going to be any big differences. So that is what's called a reusable asset. You re-upload it into the system. Now you're putting him in a new environment. You're putting him up against Kong. There's going to be assets in this movie that are going to be reused. That's why it's going to be cheaper to make. Not because you're getting shortchanged on scenery. Once you have the assets created, it's like a game engine, right? Look at Assassin's Creed. There's like 100 million Assassin's Creeds, right? Because they have a game engine, they reuse the same assets. A perfect example is Madden, right?
It really grows on
Everybody talks about Madden football always never changing, right? It's very true. Thanks for the subscribe, Corey.
Corey subscribed to the channel.
It's like when people caught that Madden 2020 had assets from Madden 2019. You could see Madden 2019 on some of the billboards. It's reusable assets. It's not a bad thing in some cases. In this case,
Jacob Dallas super chatted $4.99. Why show a 2-second clip at the beginning of your 6-hour stream and then not speak about the movie at all after not marketing it for 2 years?
He really grows.
So they did not market the movie because they didn't know what they were going to do with it.
Michael Anthony Pereira subscribed to the channel.
Thanks for subbing. If you don't know what you're doing with the movie, if you've delayed it once already, you're planning on delaying it again, you don't want to market it because it's false advertising. That's one of the reasons they've been sitting on this movie. Why show a montage? Why show a 2-second clip within a montage? They just want to give you a quick look at some of the movies they're releasing next year. This is why I said people need to, like, just because you see it in a montage does not mean you're getting a trailer. I never thought for 1 second we were getting a trailer at CCXP. Number one, if you're an American company and you're going to release a movie, most of the time they release their big trailers, their big reveals at US conventions, not foreign. Usually what they'll do in a foreign convention is they'll either release footage for a foreign film they're doing, or they'll release footage for a big film they're doing in the US that they already showed here. You know, like for example, in 2014, we got the big trailer at Comic-Con, the one that everybody was pissed about they didn't get to see. Once they made the rounds to different comic conventions around the world, they were showing what we were calling international trailers. But the first one was shown in the United States. CCXP, it might be a big deal in Brazil, but it's not here. You know, they're going to cater to their primary market. Now, some would argue that China's their primary market, which financially, yes. But these are American companies. Despite China's growth in revenue for the movie industry will still makes a great deal of their revenue here too. This movie better be worth it. Well, it's going to be worth it for some, and it may not be worth it for all. It's definitely not going to be worth it for all. That's just how it is. Not everyone's going to be pleased. It's no sense starting from scratch with assets every time. It wastes time and resources. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, like I said before, with 2014 to King of the Monsters, they had to change it because obviously they made big changes. But if Godzilla is going to look very similar with minor details, they're not going to start from scratch creating the design and re-rigging it. It's already there. It's already saved. It's a resource. And all we do now is put it in a different environment, give it certain motions, put it in different scenes, but it's the same asset. So that's why the budget is lower. It's not because they're trying to be cheapskates. They've got the assets already. You know, even Kong. All they got to do now is scale Kong up. Okay, I tell you right now, with all the beard talk, the motherfucker looked the same. He looks exactly the same the way he did in Skull Island with some minor differences. All they're going to do is scale him up. But I didn't see I looked at that thing several times. I didn't see no beard. You know? Hey, Rob, do you think marketing will be non-existent like King of the Monsters? Non-existent like King of the Monsters? What are you talking about? King of the Monsters was too existent. I think they're taking the opposite approach. I don't think that's a bad thing, but I think they're going to be very strategic with their marketing. I don't think they're going to spend a whole lot of money. You might get a trailer. You might get a full online marketing where they're just releasing clips and commercials online. They're probably got a marketing deal with HBO to do some commercials through HBO Max, like sign up for HBO Max and you can watch Godzilla versus Kong, the most epic monster fight in history, you know, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, this movie it's very polarizing. It's very polarizing. That's what's happened with this movie. It's hard to tell. You know, it's easy to assume that they're doing this because they don't give a shit about the movie. On the flip side of that, you could assume that the reason they're so protective of this movie is because they think it has a good opportunity to be good, and they wanna maximize their potential profits. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. We haven't gotten hardly anything from the companies. We haven't gotten any marketing, no trailers. It's hard to tell what's going on with this movie, you know? And then now on top of that, now you got this potential litigation between the two companies. Now we have to worry about whether or not that's going to affect the movie, because the movie's not that far away. I mean, you're looking at 6 months away now. That's going to go like that. And at some point they have to start marketing soon. If they don't give us anything by the end of December, then you're assuming they're going to do it 3 months out. Well, 3 months out would be what? January, February, March, April, May, June. So you're looking at March. That's not that far away. I mean, between now and March, they have to start something. And I can tell you right now, if we don't hear or see anything by the end of March, then there's reason to be concerned. Because then you're looking at another potential delay, you know, which I don't think that's going to happen, to be quite honest. But this litigation it should be concerning only because it could affect the movie. Yeah, because if they go to court, if they start fighting in court, the movie cannot be released until that's settled. Now, personally, whatever happens, I don't think this is going to take long. Like I said, I really don't think Legendary has a leg to stand on. If they agreed that Warner Brothers is in charge of distribution, then they can't fight that. They're going to try because they have their reasons. I'm still not sure why. But I don't know. It's gonna be tough to see what's gonna happen. This movie's so polarizing. It's so polarizing. You know, something as simple as a monster movie. You know, you think you got two big monsters, let's throw the shit on the screen and call it a day. This movie has been polarizing. From the delays, no trailer, no marketing, not a word of the fucking movie at all.